Welcome to Wisdom Trek with Gramps. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, and we are on day 2431 of our trek. The purpose of Wisdom Trek is to create a legacy of wisdom, to seek out discernment and insights, and to boldly grow where few have chosen to grow before. This is the 16th lesson in our segment called Theology Thursday. Utilizing excerpts from the book titled I Dare You Not to Bore Me with the Bible, written by Hebrew scholar and professor, the late Dr. Michael S Heiser, we will invest a couple years going through the entire Bible, exploring short biblical lessons that you may have not received in Bible class or church. The Bible is a wonderful book. Its passages reveal an epic story of God's redemption of all humankind with a long, bitter conflict against evil. Yet it is also a book that may seem strange to us at times. While God's Word is written for us, it wasn't written to us. Today, our lesson is When the Giants Walk the Earth. If you haven't read it, at least most people have heard the story of David and Goliath from Gath, the Gittite. The names of the hero and the villains have an iconic status. But how many people know anything about the giant Goliath, other than he lost his head by a boy named David from Israel? Well, in 2 Samuel chapter 21, verses 15 through 22, and 1 Chronicles chapter 20, verses 4 through 8, tell us that there were other unusually tall warriors among the Philistines. The list is not identical, but putting them together, we read that there were at least 4, Saph, also called Sippai, Lamai, Ishbibdenob, and an unnamed warrior. The descriptions are similar to those given by Goliath, noting his great stature and the dimensions of his weaponry. Unlike Goliath or the other named warriors, the unnamed giant is said to have 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot. This malformation is known as polydactylism, and is only mentioned in the description of this giant. The Bible does not mention it when it discusses the other giant clans. Well, wait a minute, you mean there were clans of giants? There were several people groups described as giants among whom giants lived in the Old Testament. One, there was Anakim, who were the descendants of the Nephilim mentioned in Genesis chapter 6, verse 1 through 4, and compared with Numbers 13:33. And whom people of Israel encountered under Moses and later under Joshua in Numbers chapter 13, verses 22 through 23, and Joshua chapter 15, verses 13 and 14. Second, at one time, before the children of Israel traveled into the Transjordan, the land that was east of the Jordan River, it was heavily populated with tall people known as Amin, Deuteronomy chapter 2, verses 10 and 11, and Zanzumim, also called Zuzim, in Deuteronomy chapter 2, verse 20. Third, the Amorites, another group that stood in the way of the Israelites claiming the Promised Land, are described as being exceptionally tall in Amos chapter 2, verses 9 and 10. And fourth, lastly, there was Rephaim, which are mentioned nearly 20 times, most often associated with the conquest of the Promised Land, when Moses encountered King Og of Bashan, whose bed measured 13 feet in length, in Deuteronomy chapter 2 and Joshua chapter 12. Goliath was a Rephaim. He and the 4 giant warriors listed alongside him are descendants of Rapha, Non, in Gath, 2 Samuel 21, verse 22, and 1 Chronicles chapter 20, verse 8. If Rapha is interpreted as a proper name, Rapha, then, the 4 warriors were all brothers of Goliath. The biblical text does not actually say this. Only one of these, Lamin, is specifically said to be a brother of Goliath. Therefore, it is best to translate the term as giants or Rephaim, as many English translations do. Now, some of the Rephaim giants survived the wars of Moses and Joshua, and their descendants were settled in the Philistine city of Gath. The other warriors who accompanied Goliath may not have been their brothers, but they were all part of the enduring and unusual lineage that challenged Israel in their land and opposed their God. Now, the lessons that make up Theology Thursday on our Wisdom Trek podcast for the next couple of years will satisfy the statement, I dare you not to bore me with the Bible. I trust that you'll enjoy them, and of course, not be bored. And if you found this podcast insightful, please subscribe and leave us a review. Then encourage your friends and family to join us and come along with us tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek, creating a legacy. And thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, your mentor, and most importantly, I am your friend as I serve you through the Wisdom Trek podcast and journal. As we take this trek of life together, let us always live abundantly, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and leave a living legacy each day. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and create a great day every day. See you next time for more daily wisdom.